Mr. Shatner, you...
Would you do me a favor?
Yes, sir.
Drag that, your podium back. Back. Just keep going. Keep going. A little more.
I'm out of his eye.
A couple of inches more. Little more.
Oh!
There you go.
Jean-Luc fell down. Sorry.
What's Jean-Luc doing here? I mean, he ain't here.
You miss it.
Jean-Luc is running. And making a duck. Jean-Luc is drowning.
Okay, I'll have you know, that particular action figure belongs to a young woman in the crowd.
Oh no!
Who, has another Jean-Luc action figure that was literally, I do not exaggerate, literally sent into space.
Really?
Yes.
What? Really? Oh, fantastic. I'm so pleased.
Now the other Jean-Luc has now taken a dive, courtesy of William Shatner. Yeah, Mr. Shatner,
What is it?
you being at the start of the franchise also kind of,
The franchise.
you've
I started a franchise. You don't want to get it on.
But you've kind of become like the chronicler.
I'm the chronicler.
Everything that's gone, you're doing all these movies about fandom, about the,
Yep.
the characters,
Yeah.
the actors.
Yeah.
You know, hey, who died and left you? The chronicler.
I can't take it any longer.
Little mouth to mouth on. Scott, they got a photograph of you with your mouth on the figure there. God knows what they're going to do with that photograph. Unable to contain himself, Scott.
But with the question being, I mean, what made you come to the conclusion, hey, you know what, I think it's time for me to start putting all this together. Let's put it, is this a retrospective you want to have for everyone, or was this like a personal thing for you?
Well, I don't know. I was making documentaries, and I enjoyed the process of exploration, which is what a documentary is. I mean, unless I suppose there are films that you could make with having a conclusion, having a preconceived conclusion, but I had none. I didn't know where I was going. It's like writing a story or writing an article. You don't know where you go, so you do your due diligence, and finally the story begins to expose itself. So I had this idea, what do the 5 actors have in common? What do they have not in common? And it began to grow. And then about the 3rd day into shooting, I began to understand what the documentary was about. In the same way with Get a Life, I asked the question some years ago, who comes to conventions? Who are you people, and why are you here? And my immediate answer was, well, they come to see me. And so then I wrote a book in which I concluded, no, they didn't come to see me, they came to see each other. Well, how smart I was. What an observation. They came to see each other, of course. But then when I did the documentary and delved further into it, it became so interesting that I was astonished as to why we're all here and what you people are doing here. You don't even know what you're doing here. But you really are doing something really special. And that's the documentary, which was a voyage of discovery. And that's what fascinated me in the end. The voyage of discovery, each one of these guys and actors. We spent, in some cases, a couple of days, in some cases, a day with each other, and in those moments bonded, because I was asking them questions about their soul, and because of for one reason or another, mostly because we're peers and I was not out to harm or do something salacious, but really vitally interested in who they were, they responded and gave me their moment, and it was reflected in the film. So in some strange manner, these guys are my friends, and I haven't known them very long, but I feel great warmth and great kinship with them, as well as the other two that aren't here. It's astonishing. And so that was the reason for doing those documentaries. And now I've got the bit in my mouth, if you'll excuse the horse expression, and I'm running off with the idea that I'm making documentaries and I'm exploring various things. And that's really what I'm after.
We have a microphone set up in the middle of the room there. If you had a question you wanted to pose to our esteemed captains, again, I'll ask that you please refrain from asking about anything personal. And don't do a repeat of that SMS skit where you're telling Mr. Shatner about the birth of a foal in his bagel that even he doesn't know about.
Did you hear what he just said? I mean, did you register what he just said?
I'm really in trouble with you, aren't I?
Hi. First off, Mr. Shatner, I'd like to let you know I fought to get Star Trek on the air in Nashville in 1966 when they had a country music showcase show up on September 1st saying that our audience couldn't handle it. We fought for it. We called the station. I talked to the station manager every day. I was 11.
No kidding. That's wonderful. And you were just a kid.
I was a kid.
You were a kid filled with passion.
Yes, and I was at the only integrated high school. It was a Catholic high school. All the other high schools were still segregated.
For God's
And
sake.
I organized a multiracial coalition that got Star Trek on the air.
He owes you a lot of money.
And as a man of a certain age, I will take it. But my question actually is for Professor Brooks. Don't you feel that you're owed some money for the character Nick Fury's attire for Nick Fury in the Avengers? I mean, he's got your look from A Man Called Hawk down pat. Don't you really think that Professor Brooks should get like money for like the character that they kind of like dress like him?
Don't think of it as personal.
I just kind of feel that way, though. No. Well, I'll tell you why. You see, this character Hawk, which lives in the universe that Robert Parker created in the Spencer for Hire novels. Now, this was the first incarnation of that character, Spencer for Hire. So I will tell you simply that this was a quote from the culture. Seemed to me. All from literature, from the legend, from mythology, and all of that. Imam Baraka might call him a blues hero. That's exactly who he was. That you could turn the page, and he's there, you turn the page, and he's gone. He appears on the screen in the night wearing dark glasses and can see. He's carrying a coat python, a nickel-plated 8-inch barrel coat python. And you can't tell that he has it until it's out. You see, when something happened to Spencer, then there he was. That is the stuff of myth and legend. That is a hero in many ways. If in fact some years hence that someone wants to delve into contemporary mythology in that fashion, no pun intended, then we have done the correct thing in letting everybody know that it's possible.
Yeah.
I make the question humorously, but I do think that Nick Fury is modeled after Hawk.